So today's Jackie Robinson Day. So if you sit down to watch a ball game with your kids tonight or anytime today, you will see all the players are wearing the number 42. And the kids might say, well, why is that? And this gives you a great opportunity to tell them about Jackie Robinson. And so here are 5 things about Jackie Robinson you may not have known. You know he broke baseball's color line. You know what makes Jackie so important. But here are 5 things about Jackie that you may not know.
Number 5.
This one is remarkable. It's the fall of 1941. Jackie Robinson joined the Honolulu Bears, which was a semi-pro football team. He played his last game with them at Pearl Harbor. He left the island and returned to California on December 5th, 1941. That is 2 days before Pearl Harbor was attacked and the day that will live in infamy. Jackie Robinson was there 2 days before. That's number 5.
Number 4.
Number 4, just to understand the world and where we were the day that Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, on this day in 1947, baseball was integrated more than a year before Harry Truman issued an executive order that began desegregating the military, and 7 years before Brown versus the Board of Education. So Jackie Robinson was playing in the majors at a time when the military was segregated and the education system was segregated. He paved the way for integration across the United States of America.
Number 3.
Number 3, once he opened that door, it was wide open. Black superstars came streaming into the National League almost immediately. From 1949 to 1962, 11 of the 14 MVPs in the National League were African American. Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella 3 times, Willie Mays, Don Newcomb, Hank Aaron, Ernie Banks twice, Frank Robinson, and Maury Wills. So obviously, so many of the best players in the world were not being allowed to play. Jackie Robinson changes all of that, and you see what comes.
Number 2.
Next, Jackie Robinson revived the art of stealing home. He did it 19 times in his career. He stole home, which is the most of any player whose career comes after World War I. And his steal of home in the 1955 World Series, in a game in which Whitey Ford is the pitcher and Yogi Berra is the catcher, remains among the most memorable plays, and we're showing it right now on ESPN+, among the most memorable plays in the history of baseball. In fact, I love the story. Yogi Berra, shortly before his death, they're in his museum in New Jersey, and that picture is hanging on the wall. And it's the picture of him, putting down the tag and Jackie Robinson sliding in. And Yogi Berra apparently just walked past it and just said, "You're out." He went to his grave believing Jackie Robinson was out when he stole home in the 55 World Series, but he was safe. And again, he stole home 19 times in his career.
Number 1.
But number 1, and I think this is the best one. You say to yourself, well, just how good a ball player was Jackie Robinson? This is a great job here by Hembo. From the 10 seasons from 1947 to 1956, the entirety of Jackie Robinson's career, only one player had more value than Robinson in the entire major leagues, if you look at WAR, the way they calculate this, and that was Stan Musial. In other words, Jackie Robinson was the second best player in the sport over a decade, despite all of the obstacles that he was facing, despite everything that was placed in his path. Jackie Robinson managed to be, by value, the second best player in the sport for a decade, and that is today's Green List in honor of Jackie Robinson. So, again, as you have the kids gathered around, I mean, it pains me to think that we may be living in a world and in a time when we know as little about the history of sports as we do, that there are probably a lot of kids who don't know the significance of it. So if your kid should ask you, why are they all wearing the same number today, Mom or Dad? There you go. You got a chance to explain it to them, and you have a few things you can tell them that they might find fascinating. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.